Hi, Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. This is not the real part of the video. This is some B-roll I wanted to do before the video. This video is coming out with my face in shadows and all that kind of stuff. And my wife has even said, gee, you know, when you're outside roaming around, you've got to be aware of where you are, because sometimes the sun shining through the leaves and stuff blacks out half your face. Look, I don't have a film director here. I'm Steven Spielberg, all this stuff. I'm just trying to convey some information to you, and you know, I guess I could do it as a podcast, but I prefer to do it through video. So if it bothers you that I have shadows on my face, or that I'm walking around swinging the camera and showing you all the trees and the flora and the fauna and all that stuff, and the wind blowing my hair around, if that bothers you, go watch a movie and don't watch my stuff, okay? Thank you for putting up with me, for those of you that watch my stuff. I'm just having a good time, and I hope you enjoy this video that I'm going to produce now for you on stress and trading. Thanks a lot. Good morning from New Hampshire, United States. Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. Got my cup of coffee, and as Langers, the scruffy trader from the UK, would say, you just can't trade without a cup of coffee. And I'll add a corollary to that, Langers, you can't even talk about trading without having a cup of coffee. So I'm doing that on this beautiful, what will be a beautiful July day. And I didn't want to go outside today. I just wanted to do a short video because this one is going to be on stress. Stress in trading. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can have stress, but I want to talk a little bit about stress in trading. I did a video the other day when I was talking about why I was considering myself more of a scalper, and I was defining those terms of what a scalper is and how they work. And I also wrote a 3,000-word blog post on my longwoodcurrencytrading.com website about scalping and the difference between that and long-term trading. And I mentioned that one of the, I guess, criticisms that traders and non-traders have about scalpers is that it's just very stressful, it's bad for your health, and under stress you make poor decisions. And you know, if you've read the book The Hour Before Dog and Wolf, a trader from the floor talks about the psychology of stress and what causes that, and the physiological effects that it has, not only to the body, but also just the decision-making process. And so stress is a big component of what we need to talk about when we're talking about trading and trading plans and all that other sort of stuff. Trading in the Zone is a marvelous book about general psychology and things like that. But the attitude still comes that when you put yourself, again, as a trader primarily, in a situation where you're making decisions on a lot of money, that causes stress. Well, look, I spent 40 years as a real estate investor, and that's a lot of money. It's the time differential that I think folks are confusing with the money. You don't have a lot of stress when you're doing real estate, because if you make a mistake, you could have weeks or months in order to fix it. In trading, that's not the case. Regardless of the type of trading you're doing, you can always get out. Even if you're a long-term trader trading on the monthly charts and you go, man, this is going to shit, I'm getting out. But on the shorter time frames, or the shorter time scales that we scalpers work on, 5-minute chart, a 1-minute chart, tick charts, you know, the assumption is, because of the necessity to make so many different decisions in such a compact period of time, it creates stress. I find that strange because driving a car should be a really, really stressful thing. People say, well, I get stressed. I get on, when I was a software engineer, I worked down in Massachusetts for a while. I live in New Hampshire, and so we go down and do the famous Route 128 beltway around Boston that had a lot of the high-tech firms, and you'd do bumper tag at 80 miles an hour on 128, and it's just really, really crowded. And you could say, well, that's really stressful. Well, yeah, if you're playing bumper tag at 80 miles an hour, I suppose that would be stressful. But it's a situation you put yourself in, not so much the action of driving a car. It's your decision-making process is one thing, but the thing at stake when you make a decision is a whole other deal. If you're driving a car at 80 miles an hour doing bumper tag, then your risk is far higher than if you're just driving the car down a country road at 30 miles an hour smelling the corn. Stress is a funny thing. I don't think it's external things. I don't think. External things do not cause the stress. We create the stress by our perception of risk or danger in whatever it is that we're doing. So if you are experiencing stress in your trading, I would suggest that you're perceiving danger. And that isn't the way to look at your trading. You should be looking at your trading as fun and as an opportunity in order to increase your net worth, or to pay yourself, as Langers would say, pay yourself a wage. That's what the trading is for. You're not trading for shits and grins or just to make a shit house full of money. You have to have a purposeful approach to the trading. So why would that cause your perception of that pursuit to be dangerous or stressful? I used to sail a lot, and sailing can be very, very dangerous. You sail small boats, and you're tacking all the time, and the boom comes flying across at 90 miles an hour when you jibe, and if you don't watch out, you get your head knocked off. You'd fall overboard. The waters around here are really cold. All kinds of dangers. But we don't look at those. We mitigate those dangers by wearing life preservers, by ducking when somebody says jibe, not running into rocks. We got depth finders and all that other sort of stuff. So you mitigate those risks, and then you can appreciate the process of sailing the boat. Why don't we do that as traders? Are traders so singularly focused on that they have no other worldly experience that you can base what you're doing, and understand that everything that you do has a risk? When you put your feet down on the floor in the morning to get out of bed, you're taking a risk. Dog could have pooped on the floor right there by the bed, and you could slip on that and fall and crack your head. I mean, you look before you step out on the floor. You put your seatbelt on. You put your life jacket on. And when you're trading, you set a stop, whether that's mental or hard or whatever it is. If it's mental, then you're going to have the discipline to stick with it, right? But don't, I guess what I'm saying is, if you don't take the necessary precautions, then you're going to have fear. You're going to have stress. And if you say, oh, I'm putting stops, I'm doing this, I'm doing what everybody tells me, that's not sufficient to get rid of the stress. You're not really looking at what's causing you to perceive the activity as stress. You look at driving your car, and you've got 19 intersections to go through before you get to the park or wherever it is you're going to drive. You realize that some dumbass may blow a stop sign at one of those intersections, or a little kid may throw a ball out, and then you're going to have to slam the brakes on. So because of those things, you'll be watching for those things as you drive, and your preparation in the event that something happens is you put your seatbelt on, you don't drive too fast, all those kinds of things that you do. So you enjoy the drive from wherever you are to wherever you're going. Well, trading's got to be the same way. You can't just say, well, I put a stop there, therefore I mitigate my risk, because you haven't really looked at the risk. You don't understand it. I've been in martial arts for 50 years. I teach on fear-based education. If you don't want to get punched in the face, there are certain things that you have to do. But primary to understanding getting punched in the face has to be, why would somebody punch me in the face? Now, if I'm being a jerk, maybe I deserve to get punched in the face. I have to accept that. I have to accept responsibility for that. If I'm walking down the street and I'm flashing a couple $100 bills around and somebody comes out to rob me, well, I have to take some responsibility for that. Well, there are the circumstances where you're just going down, somebody's in a bad mood, boom, they're going to sucker punch you, or they're going to pick a fight with you. You have to look at that person. Why are they doing that? Why would somebody come after you to pick a fight with you if it wasn't to rob you or rape you or something like that? It's just out of pure malice. Why would they do that? Isn't it because they're afraid of you? They need to prove themselves because they're afraid. So they're going to pick on you, who they perceive as being weak, in order to build their own self up and rid themselves of fear. It doesn't rid them of fear, it increases their fear, and it increases their desire to continue to prove themselves in that way. And all of a sudden one day they run into somebody like me that's going to put them to the ground. So taking the risks in that way don't really pay off in the end. And so if you look at your risk, what's causing the risk, what's causing your perception of the risk in trading, you might come to an understanding, as you do of the potential attacker, but he's afraid. And so if you're confident, you don't need to be afraid of someone who's already fucking afraid. You know? When I was in high school, I had a teacher who lived in a very, very tough section of New York City. And he went home to visit his family at Thanksgiving. He hadn't seen his sister in 3 or 4 years. And after Thanksgiving dinner, they got out and they walked down the streets of Harlem, down one side and back the other. And in those areas, you go from one neighborhood to the next, you're in enemy territory. But because they hadn't seen each other in so long, there were predators all around out there who would slit your throat or give you a rough time anyway if you just crossed from one street to the next. That's common knowledge, if you're going to debate me on that. But he and his sister walked down one side of the street and back on the other, about a mile down and a mile back or something like that. Nobody ever bothered them. And he said the reason nobody ever bothered them is because they didn't see them. Because they were so wrapped up in their conversations that they were not exhibiting any fear. There was no fear for the animals to sense, to try to take advantage of. Okay, let's look at this trading thing. I've long said I don't do stress. I don't do stress about anything. And yeah, sure, that's part of my martial arts training. That doesn't mean I can kick everybody's ass in the world and all that other kind of stuff. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. All the karate training says is, you are not going to take advantage of me. If you want to fuck with me, I will walk away. I will do the best that I can. But if you scare me to the point where I feel my life is in danger, you're fucking dead. You're going to the wood. And you don't fight unless you're willing to go down yourself. It's that serious. So you don't fight. You don't get involved. Martial arts people don't get involved in fights unless they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Because we don't care to fight. We don't want to fight. We don't want to hurt anybody. Because you're an asshole and you're going to call me an asshole, does that make me fearful or want to strike out against you? No, it shouldn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. When you understand that they're doing what they're doing out of fear. I'm not afraid. You're afraid. That's a fact of life. I got shit to do. What your shit to do is to try to make me afraid so you can take advantage of me. I'm not going to play in that game. In the trading world, nobody's out there to overtly hurt you as a person. But the market itself is based on 50% of the people are going to win and 50% of the people are going to lose. It's binary. It's called a zero-sum game in Forex because we're not trading anything except price. There's no stock certificate that you can post up as collateral, that the bank posts up as collateral, and you change yourself on down the line. Like when a bank, when you deposit $1 in a bank, it becomes $8 of credit that's extended out, going 8 times. That's not the market. That's not the Forex market that we play in. It's zero sum. You're in the market. You're either going to lose the trade or you're going to win. There's no malice involved in that. The big traders, the institutions and the banks and hedge funds and stuff, they're executing massive orders for their clients. They don't give a shit about you. They're trying to satisfy the order of their client. They're not out to get you. It's your perception of that market. If everybody's out to get me, they're hunting my stops. Of course they're hunting your stops. They're level 2 traders and they're trying to satisfy their client. They're not hunting your stop. They're satisfying their client's orders. You have to separate yourself from that. Otherwise, you will be stressed. So let's go down now to so you understand that. So you shouldn't have any angst over all that. Now let's go down to the frequency of your trading. At a scalper level, you're doing 10, 20 trades a day. Now, that doesn't mean that a scalper needs to do that. I have profit targets of 25 pips, or I don't get into the trade. I'm not hunting and picking for a pip or 3 pips or 2 pips, as I mentioned in my other video. I'll take 2 pips or 3 pips when it's offered and I see that the trade's run out of steam and it's going to go against me. And if it continues to go against me a little bit, I won't wait until my stop is hit. I'll just exit the trade. But I'm willing to let that go. 10 pips, 20 pips, 100 pips if it'll go. I'll stay with it. I'm not going to get out just because I have a profit target of 8 pips or 10 pips or whatever. I'll protect my position with trailing position management and we'll go from there. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of losing. Why would I be afraid of losing? Jesse Livermore said that the only way that you get an education in the market is to invest cash, track your trades, and study your mistakes. The implication being there is you're going to make mistakes and you're going to lose. Sit down and play poker. You're going to lose. What are you going to do? Get your balls in an uproar just because you lose a hand of poker, or you drop a 40 pip trade? No, you can't. You can't get wound around the axle in that. The trading is a stimulating mental exercise that pays you a wage and increases your net worth if you do it correctly. But once you go into stress mode, either thinking about all the folks that are out to get you, or because you're making all these decisions, I have to make all these decisions. Well, don't make any decisions. Go take a fucking nap and have a glass of beer or something. The decision process shouldn't be stressful. It should be stimulating. How many decisions do you have to make in order to put a puzzle together? A lot. I don't know anybody that thinks that puzzle building is stressful. It's relaxing. To me, trading is relaxing, whether I'm sitting at the screen for 15 minutes or sometimes I've been there for 6, 8 hours pushing through trades. I'm not going to get stressed out about it. Trading is not stressful. It's stressful for you if you're a stressful person that doesn't understand the environment around them and doesn't understand the risks that environment has and hasn't taken the time to investigate productive ways of mitigating those risks such that you know that the risks are taken care of and now you can focus on what's good in life. so that you can be happy, healthy, feel terrific, and feel calm. That's something that my master karate teacher taught me, S.A. Brock out of St. Louis, Missouri. He taught me the mantra, love me, happy, healthy, terrific, and calm. I am happy, I am healthy, I am terrific, and I am calm. And I can trade currencies without any stress. Have a great day. Have a great trading day. Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading.